this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
With no fees or minimums on checking accounts, it's no wonder the Capital One bank guy is so passionate about banking with Capital One. If he were here, he wouldn't just tell you about no fees or minimums. He'd also talk about how most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. Yep, even on weekends. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One, N.A., member FDIC.
Tax season has arrived, and doing taxes without the right help can feel overwhelming. Intuit TurboTax is here now to guide you through it with confidence. Match with a TurboTax full-service expert who handles everything for you from start to finish. Your dedicated expert checks every single deduction and credit to help you get the best possible outcome so you can feel confident you're getting every dollar you deserve. And the best part? You'll see real-time updates on your expert's progress right on your phone while you live your life. Plus, you get unlimited expert help at no extra cost, even on nights and weekends during tax season. Visit TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax full-service experts. Real-time updates only on iOS mobile app.
Brought to you by the reinvented 2012 Camry. It's ready. Are you? Welcome to Stuff You Should Know from HowStuffWorks.com.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
I'm Josh Clark. That was Chuck Bryan who just said hi.
Good times.
And then when you put the two of us together, you're going to get something called Stuff You Should Know. It's like mixing baking soda and vinegar and chest hair.
Oh, God.
That's Stuff You Should Know.
That's so gross.
It's explosive. Right?
It is.
Chuck.
Yes.
How, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm great.
Okay.
Does that not sound convincing?
No. And I know that you won't be okay by the time we finish this one.
I thought this is very interesting and well written.
Thank you very much. I would agree with very interesting.
No, of course, well written. Had your fingers doing the typing.
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do this one?
Yes.
Okay, so, Chuck, there was a study released in a little-known journal called Conservation Letters. You may have heard of it.
Okay.
Have you?
I hadn't until I read this.
I hadn't either until I found it.
All right.
But it was by Conservation International's Will Turner and a couple other people from that group. And the point of this paper was to point out that even though we may try to mitigate climate change, we're still screwing things up by trying to mitigate it. And by not preparing for the worst, e.g. climate change, we're ultimately going to screw things up after the Earth is already screwed up.
Okay.
Let me give you a couple of examples.
All right.
First is 1/5 of all the world's tropical forests lie within a few kilometers of areas that would be totally underwater if sea levels rose by just 1 meter, right?
Yes, 31 miles of heavy human population would be underwater.
31 miles?
The forests are within 31 miles of heavy
yeah.
human populations.
Right.
Yeah.
And so these human populations aren't just going to sit there and drown and take one for the Earth.
No.
They're going to move upward.
That's right.
And as they move upward, they're going to encounter these forests. And they're
That's
going to say, hey, that bird looks delicious. Hey, I can burn this tree and cook this bird.
Yeah.
Hey, Mama, let's get it on. There's going to be all sorts of weird things said in these forests after climate change takes place, right?
Yeah, these untouched forests will now be touched and plundered.
Right. And, by the way, this same 1/5 of the forests are home to exactly half of all of the Alliance for Zero Extinction sites, which means that these are sites where animals that are filled with animals that are on the verge of extinction.
Right.
Humans show up. It's over.
Okay.
Right? So that's if climate change happens and we don't figure out what we're going to do for shelter and fuel and food
Right.
ahead of time.
Right.
That's just natural.
Bad scenario.
The other scenario is, okay, we're trying to mitigate climate change now before some sort of disaster happens in the future, right?
Yeah.
So say hydroelectric power.
Yeah, let's build a dam.
Let's.
And
Why not?
Yeah, because that's clean and green.
Yeah, when you release water, it makes turbines move, which generates electricity completely cleanly, right?
Yeah.
So how can you go wrong, Chuck?
Well, it didn't say so in this particular paper, but I remember a little podcast we did about reservoir-induced seismicity and a Science Channel short film we did on that.
Yes.
Where
Nice plug, Chuck.
building dams can potentially cause instability in tectonic plates from the heavy water and then no water.
Yeah.
And if you build one too close to a dam, it could cause an earthquake.
Cause an earthquake?
So that's one way.
That's one way. Another way is that when you build a dam, that river backs up and creates a lake in an area that wasn't ever really supposed to be a lake. And
Right.
all of the deer and the squirrels and the koala bears and the plants are in big trouble, right?
Yeah.
What's more, you also affect the freshwater downstream of the dam. And basically you screw up the environment, right?
This sounds like a you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't kind of thing. Josh.
Right. So, Chuck, somebody reading a news report about this paper, right, could say, what's the point? Why do anything, right? Just let me eat my hungry man dinner, and I don't care anymore. I don't care.
Right.
Like, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And that very understandable and reasonable reaction is kind of cause for concern among a lot of critics of the media. Because, well, let's talk about whether or not science believes that anthropogenic or man-made climate change is real.
Josh, National Academy of Sciences, who we actually know some people there. Very nice people. They did great work.
We do. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, Marty.
1,372 scientists were polled by the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, and 97% agreed that anthropogenic climate change is a real thing, and they even went so far as to say, "What's up with you 3%? Like, what do you think?" And they kind of found out that they didn't have the expertise to really determine that.
Right. They went back and
shamed them.
Based on that 3% citation and publication rates, they said these people are basically stupid, which is why they don't believe in man-made climate change.
Right. So this poll, at least, indicates that science says, yeah, man-made climate change is happening. It's a real thing. Okay,
so you have science on the one hand saying, yes, there's a problem, people. And you have the public on the other hand saying, all right, I don't want to drown and I don't want to drive these species out of extinction. What can I do? What can I do, Mr. Scientist? And the group that serves to connect these two, the people who know there's a problem and maybe have answers, and the people who can actually create change by carrying out these solutions, is the media. And it's about here where that disconnect comes about, especially when there's doomsday scenarios.
Yeah, let me read you another stat, which feels a little awkward because you found the stat.
It's okay.
A Gallup poll last year in 2010, the future, 48% of Americans said they believed that the seriousness of global warming is, quote, generally exaggerated. And that was a 17% rise from 1997, when we supposedly have a lot more information probably over that time period. And you hit the nail on the head. It's because of something called alarmism, thanks to something called the media.
Right, and part of it is alarmism. Another part is that there's such a thing as professional climate skeptics, like bloggers, reporters, media influencers who are like, no, it's not real, and then take money from PR companies.
Sure.
But part of it is alarmism. There's if you put enough problems onto a person, they're going to just throw up their hands and give up.
Well, there's also a British study that you found that the think tank Institute for Public Policy Research, they did a review of more than 600 news articles in the UK. This is just in the UK, right?
Yeah.
On climate change?
Yeah.
And they found, we should read some of these. This is the language, alarmist language being used by some of these 600 articles.
Right.
The climate of fear. Serious climate change is now inevitable.
That was James Lovelock, the person who came up with the Gaia theory.
He also said, same guy said, the Earth has passed the point of no return.
He also called for the temporary suspension of democracy until we can handle climate change.
Really?
Yeah.
Another one said, we're headed for dodo status. Words like point of no return, civilizational collapse, global chaos.
And then Malcolm Gladwell's favorite.
Tipping point.
Yeah.
Your favorite person.
So that was the alarmist language, right? And it creates the sense of enormity, right? And that sense of enormity creates a reasonable distancing from the problem. Like, there's nothing I can do about this. There's nothing any of us can do about this.
Yeah.
Again,
I fall into this trap too.
To my Hungry Man dinner.
I have to admit.
Well, it's a pretty normal human thing to do.
Well, basically, you're kind of being charged with, like, save the planet now, or humans will be extinct in the blink of an eye.
Right.
And who is not going to shrink from that a little bit and say, where's my Hungry Man?
Right. But they also found that there are two other large categories that the climate change reporting language can be put into. There's also non-pragmatic optimism, which is basically like, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. Who cares? Right?
Yeah.
And then there's pragmatic optimism, which is like, you can change your light bulbs and make a difference. Like,
sure.
we can save ourselves, but we have to do something. That's pragmatic optimism. But what they found was, far and away, the most common type was alarmism, right?
Yeah, because it sells, headlines. It sells headlines. It sells headlines, sells papers.
It does.
But there really aren't papers anymore, so it sells clicks.
Exactly.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then, you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like EFTs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors, LLC. SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Hey everybody, get this. LinkedIn has grown to a network of over 1 billion professionals and 130 million decision makers. And that's where it stands apart from other ad buys.
Yeah, for sure. You can target your buyers by job title, industry, company, role, seniority, skills, even company revenue, so you can stop wasting budget on the wrong audience.
Yep, that's why LinkedIn Ads generates the highest B2B ROAS of all online ad networks. Seriously, all of them.
And get this, if you spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn Ads, you get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/SYSK. That's linkedin.com/SYSK. Terms and conditions apply.
So, Chuck.
Josh?
The guys from this British think tank, what was it?
The Institute for Public Policy Research.
They I don't think they meant to, which is fine to say that they failed to show causation. Like, you've got alarmist language, you have people who don't care about climate change any longer, are afraid of the problem, or aren't thinking about it. They didn't show that one caused the other. They just showed that they're correlated. But other studies have shown that if you manipulate the public in a certain way, you're going to have a counterproductive reaction from them, right?
Yeah, not the reaction that you're intending.
Right.
Which I thought this was really interesting. The Northwestern study you cited, in 2010 in Canada, they did a public service announcement, that said binge drinking is a bad thing. You shouldn't binge drink.
You should feel guilt and shame for binge drinking.
But what happened?
Well, they found that people who were already exposed to the feelings guilt and shame,
to begin
and
with,
then were shown this, tended to were likelier to go binge drink within the next 2 weeks than people who were exposed to these ads and had some sort of neutral emotion going on, right?
That's right. And even scarier, there was one in 2009 in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, which is a fun read. Cigarette packs they found that said really blatant, aggressive messages like smoking can kill you actually increase smoking in some people.
Right. Very specific set of people. But if you're trying to get people across the board to quit smoking, it would be a good idea to not use these death-related messages. You want to go for death-neutral messages.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called.
Really?
Yeah. So that study, that 2009 study from the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, was carried out, was conducted by some terror management theorists, Chuck.
That's right.
Terror management theory is the coolest sounding theory of all time. Has nothing to do with terrorism. So all of you who are listening to this podcast hoping for one on terrorism, you can now be officially disappointed.
Yeah, and when I first saw terror management theory, the first thing I thought it was terrorism.
I think of terror. You know what I see in my mind?
What?
I see like a 70s horror anthology paperback cover.
Terror management theory?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, like maybe a Red Skull, or maybe the cover to Stephen King's Dense Macabre.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Nice reference.
Thanks.
Queep Quab.
What?
Queequeg? You had that great funny line at the end of that one podcast.
Which one?
It was one that just came out recently. When I was doing the QA for the episode, I genuinely was cracking up at my desk.
That is awesome.
It was very good.
Okay.
That happens all the time, though. So where are we? Terror management theory. This was created in the 1980s by psychologists at the University of Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Tigers?
Tigers? Yes.
Prairie Tigers?
Prairie Tigers. Go Prairie Tigers. And based on the work of Ernest Becker, who was the author of Denial of Death, which a lot of you may have heard of.
And we've talked about him before, plenty.
I think we have, haven't we?
We've talked about him, and I think definitely Is There a Worse Way to Die?
Yeah.
He came up big time. But he was an anthropologist who basically said, okay, all culture is created to distract us from being obsessed with our inevitable death. Right?
I think he was obsessed with death.
He definitely was, but through his obsession, he managed to free himself.
Oh, yeah?
Imagine.
So that's what he thinks is a big distraction, everything from sports on TV, television probably, war is used as a distraction and to create meaning in life.
Well, actually, one of the war was a big one that he used. He used the I can't remember what it's called. It's not thanatology. That's like the study of death. Becker's was more like the obsession with death.
Uh-huh.
But basically, he was saying we are aware innately that we do create culture to distract ourselves from death. So when we encounter another culture that's totally foreign or alien to us, and we look at their culture, we see how ridiculous it appears, that their belief systems just appear ridiculous to us.
Right.
That it reminds us that we do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Our beliefs are ridiculous. And then we start thinking about our own deaths. So we want to destroy this culture that we encounter because it's reminding us of our own death, and we hate it.
How does that fit into cultural relativism, I wonder?
That's the opposite of it.
I was about to say.
Cultural relativism is also flawed, we figured out to a certain extent because it just allows absolutely anything,
right?
Wholesale. But it's the opposite of what I just described cultural relativism as. But terror management theory takes Becker's ideas and introduces them from anthropology to psychology and has really kind of started to standardize them.
So the idea is that you are afraid of your own demise, and so you cling mad to the culture that you most identify with and you've come to identify with.
Yeah, and they keep finding in study after study that this theory holds up.
And that's called what? Distal defense?
Yes.
Interesting.
So let me give you an example of a study. There were a bunch of judges that were used in a study, and I guess they chose prostitution to use it as like it's the same case, same offense. It was easily standardized, maybe. But they took some judges and basically were like, hey, you're going to die eventually, to one group. And then they did another group where they gave them some activity that basically guaranteed death saliency, I believe.
Okay.
Where they weren't thinking about death at all.
Right. And
they sent both groups out to handle their prostitution cases. And the judges who'd been reminded of their mortality tended to throw the book at prostitutes. And the researchers theorized or postulated that the reason these guys threw the book at prostitutes was because this was their they were buying into their culture. They were clinging to their culture of morals and laws and what they believed in, right? And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Chuck, you've been hungover, like tragically hungover before, right?
Yeah, once or twice.
So you don't want to take any risks whatsoever. You kind of feel like you're at death's door. You're on some sort of edge right there where you're really hanging out there and you're really vulnerable. And like you maybe, Milo and Otis makes you cry while you're watching it on the couch, or like you really need to be around Emily and have her support right then, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the root of it. That's the basis of it. When we're reminded of death, we cling to what we find comfort in, and we tend to find comfort in the charade of society or culture that we create.
I bet you could even trickle it down a little bit, even beyond death, when you're feeling most fragile and vulnerable, which obviously death would be the ultimate in vulnerability.
Exactly.
So but that's when you need the support most and you cling to what you know most.
Right. But I mean, like if you got fired from a job or, something, there was some disruption to your normal life.
Right.
You're going to cling to it. So that's distal. That's the distal defense. There's also proximal. And this is what regards to climate change.
Yeah, and that's when you downplay the seriousness of something like that's kind of me. I don't think about death much, and I'm one to really, play it down probably. Be like, oh, sure, I'm going to die when I'm old. Like everybody, but I don't want to think about that. You just downplay the significance of it.
Right. I wonder, though, is that the best you can hope for?
What, to die when you're old?
No, to just kind of downplay it and not, genuinely not worry about it. Is that really flawed?
I hope not. I never think about death.
But I guess what I ask because I have the same approach. I tend to think, well, okay, I'm aware that I'm going to die one day.
Yeah.
I'm aware of death. I don't think about it. I'm not obsessed with death,
right.
Especially not my own. But I wonder sometimes, in that last few minutes, am I going to freak out? Because people do.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see that in the movies.
No.
Emily is very preoccupied with death.
Really?
Yeah, she didn't talk about it much, but she's got a very dark side. I'm driving home and I could easily slip off the road and hit that tree, or there's a tornado watch in the area and a tree is going to fall on our house and kill us all in our sleep. Whereas I don't think about that stuff.
But how does she react to that?
I think there's a low level of anxiety, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She would probably agree with that.
Yeah.
She doesn't listen to the show, so just let her know.
That's fine. Say whatever you want now.
Support for this show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt, from renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year. You can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, buys one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/SYSK and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/SYSK. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors, LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated Assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Hey everybody, get this. LinkedIn has grown to a network of over 1 billion professionals and 130 million decision makers. And that's where it stands apart from other ad buys.
Yeah, for sure. You can target your buyers by job title, industry, company, role, seniority, skills, even company revenue, so you can stop wasting budget on the wrong audience.
Yep, that's why LinkedIn Ads generates the highest B2B ROAS of all online ad networks. Seriously, all of them.
And get this, if you spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn Ads, you get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/SYSK. That's linkedin.com/SYSK. Terms and conditions apply.
So you got proximal and distal defense mechanisms when reminded of mortality, right?
Yeah, and I imagine both can probably happen too, right? It's probably not one or the other.
Right. But with the doomsday scenario and climate change, it seems like terror management can explain that through the proximal defense where you just downplay it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, well, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. It's not going to happen in our lifetime, that kind of thing. So I guess if we were to give advice to the media, which we never do in an article.
Yeah, and media doesn't listen to us anyway, even though we're sort of a part of it, are we?
I don't know if we
Is this
ever,
media?
we
New
ever
media.
fully concluded that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be to basically adopt the more pragmatic, optimistic approach, I think tends to work. But it doesn't look like the media is going to do it, Chuck, because tell them about CFLs.
Yes, Josh, CFLs, when they first came out, it was all the rage in green living.
Yeah.
And as soon as everyone was like, yeah, you know what, I can deal with the fact that it looks a little funny and I'm not used to this whiter light.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it because I'm going to do my part, my very small part.
Like, I can exact change against climate change.
And then the media all of a sudden started reporting stories about mercury. Is it mercury?
Yeah.
In CFLs. And you're going to die if you use them.
Exactly.
Alarmist language. It's just sensationalism, man. It's been around since the first words were printed.
Yep.
Extra, read all about
Gutenberg
it.
was like, you're going to die from the plague.
Yeah. It's still around. In this case, it's climate change, and it's making people shrink under their couch instead of doing small things that can actually make a difference.
Prescription, Dr. Bryant?
You know what I do is I don't watch local news. I don't watch any news.
Really?
No. Do you?
No. Now that I think about it, not really. I mean, I watch selective stuff. Like if there's like a good video or something, I'll watch it. But
Right.
I think I get most of my news from Twitter or magazines.
Yeah, I get most of mine from the internet, and a lot of times not from, leading sources on the internet. You can usually get an honest truth if you seek out some of these other websites.
Yeah. Okay.
I wish I could think of one.
So terror management theory and Ernest Becker makes another cameo. Thank you, Dr. Becker, for showing up.
Joe Becker.
If you want to learn more about doomsday climate scenarios, terror management theory, tobacco warnings, this article's got it all. Mm-hmm. You can type in doomsday and climate change, and I think it'll bring this article up. And handy search bar brings up listener mail.
That's right, Josh. We're going to call this, These Kids Are Ripping Us Off.
Is this Catholic stuff you should know?
No, this is tongue-in-cheek. So Josh, so Chuck, we are teachers, so Jerry, we are teachers at Mountain Ridge Middle School in Colorado Springs at the base of America's mountain, Pikes Peak. We were inspired by your podcast over the years and became regular listeners and decided our 8th grade class should write podcasts in the style of Stuff You Should Know, record them, and edit them.
Sounds like a good thing to do.
Yeah, cool exercise. So we shared portions of some of your podcasts with the kids, asked them to develop the plan and rubric, and based on the elements that they heard in your show, the Chuck and Josh-isms, jazzy theme song, jokes and stats, demonstrating a thorough understanding, listener mail, the whole soup to nuts, basically. The students were permitted to choose their topics. We encouraged them to find out what's the deal with whatever they were curious about. Topics range from hovercrafts to grilled meat and carcinogens to hypoglycemia. So these are some smart kids.
Yeah.
The sound quality isn't as crisp, obviously, but you think you'll get a kick out of it.
You should have heard our first one.
Yeah. Before we got microphones. The most interesting aspect, though, guys, was we were really surprised at who excelled. One pair of students didn't have a history of being the most academically motivated, but their delivery was really smooth and professional.
And the emo kids were surprisingly funny.
They seemed to get the Chuck and Josh banner and could become excellent radio personalities one day.
Awesome.
Another group, shall we say, is not the most socially proficient face-to-face, but behind the microphone, they really came alive and had a fluid delivery and were animated.
That was the emo kids.
The chemistry was amazing between them. So that is from Emily and Sean, who are the TAG coordinator and IB coordinator at enrichment team leaders.
Nice.
And we have a clip. They sent us a clip, and we're going to play just a little snippet right now. Let's see what you guys think.
Hey, from Colorado Springs, Colorado, it's just like Mother used to make. And here's your host, with the face for radio, Dakota. Dim sum originated from the older tradition of tea tasting. When people discovered that tea helped digestion, they began adding food to tea time, giving them dim sum. Dim sum is a dish that involves small individual portions of food, usually served in a steamed basket or on a plate.
Dim sum is typically served as a breakfast. This usually includes vegetables, steamed dumplings, roasted chicken, and rice and noodles.
Awesome.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Little emulators.
Yes.
Little rip-off artists.
Yeah, I know.
Just kidding.
You guys will be hearing from our lawyers.
That was an excellent job, and we want to tell the whole class, way to go, and that's really cool that your teachers did this.
Yeah, so thank you, Emily and Sean, for letting us know about this. We appreciate it. You guys keep on keeping on. Keep doing all sorts of cool things. Don't be so judgmental of the emo kids. They're people, too. If you have a cool theory that you'd like us to hear of, I'm always down for cool theories, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Send it to us via email at stuffpodcast@howstuffworks.com.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit howstuffworks.com. To learn more about the podcast, click on the podcast icon in the upper right corner of our homepage. The How Stuff Works iPhone app has arrived. Download it today on iTunes. Brought to you by the reinvented 2012 Camry. It's ready. Are you?
The NFL playoffs are here, and Wild Card Weekend, powered by Verizon, is in full swing.
Man, it all comes down to this.
The stakes are high, hopes are higher, and everything is on the line.
My goodness!
It's win or go home, and every moment counts on the road to Super Bowl 60.
It's a touchdown!
Wild Card Weekend, powered by Verizon. Through Monday. Visit watch.nfl.com for the full schedule.
These days, it seems like AI agents are just about everywhere you turn, every field and every function. But without identity, you can't trust they'll serve your business instead of jeopardizing it. Fortunately, Okta helps you get identity right by securing your AI agents' identities, giving you a single layer of control, a single standard of trust. So whether an AI agent supports a single user or your entire enterprise, with Okta, you'll turn risk into opportunity. Secure every agent. Secure any agent. Okta secures AI.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.